And we are live. Hello, Tom Levecki here with a very special live edition of the New Theory Podcast. Today, we got a very special guest. We got Dominic Cicale. He's in the back room. And we're going to do this live. And I want to give people a little context and background as to why we're doing the live today. I was on 52 Topics yesterday with Frank Fiorellino and Brett, a New York City crime spot. Sub to the channel. They got a great show. I think one of the best shows in the genre right now. But with that being said, I popped on, and Dom and I believe, had a very good exchange on his new meme coin, or his new cryptocurrency coin, Crypton Nora. So just again to give people some background and set this up before we get Dominic on. Meme coins have not been so reliable lately. In wake of the Hawk Tua crypto coin pump and dump, went up to almost $500 million and lost 95% of its value literally immediately within a few hours, holding a lot of people, causing a lot of people to be holding the bag, many of which were fans and many of which were regular folk like you and I. Another one recently is Trump coin. Trump coin went as high as 70, and it does not, or it's not supposed to have utility to it, and that is because it's not monitored by the SEC. Dave Portnoy today called meme coins a legalized Ponzi scheme. Now I'd like to welcome former Bonanno captain and the guy driving Crypton Nora, Dom Cicale. Dom Cicale, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, Tom. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you might not feel that way after we're done.
Listen, all I know right now, I see my bottle of EG in the background.
That's it. We got EG vodka. When he first mentioned it, I was looking for an organic vodka. I tried it out. I liked it. I had it for a while. As you see, I don't drink as much as I used to, but it's there in the background. I figured I'd put it there to have.
Thank you for that.
It's my pleasure to have a little fun. So with that being said, I want to start off with your coin, and I want to share the screen a little bit. Let me just see, share screen. And this is live, guys. So the coin is launched. Hopefully everybody can see it. So it's launched, and it has already $1 million market cap, some liquidity to it. We'll get into that. 2 billion coins, 200 holders, and is up $100,000 since yesterday. So this is moving. So jump in first. Why did you want to create this coin?
I felt, number one, I knew the task I was taking on was going to be difficult just because of the history with meme coins and all the bad press it's been getting. So my first obstacle I wanted to tackle was, how can I make, number one, I know because of my past also, there's going to be a lot of criticism. So I figured, how can I make this stable?
Okay.
How can I create something where we have a solid foundation? And with that said, I wanted to be the first out with a Mafia coin. Somebody who is in the Mafia coming out with a Mafia coin, I think, is tremendous, and it's a good marketing tool. So I created a team. I put a team together, diversified team, where somebody came up with the idea to stabilize it. Let's create a gaming app. Let's create NFTs. And let's create an ecosystem with an online shopping center where they could use the cryptocurrency. So we actually took a meme coin platform and enhanced it with a utility as well. My next step was, what platform are we going to use? Everybody's using pump.com, which, if you know the crypto market, pump.com is where Hawk Tua went on. I think she went on that. I'm not sure.
I believe so, yeah.
And pump.com is usually, it's just a meme coin. There's nothing else behind it. They get the hype, and within a day or days, they pull the rug on it. That's just facts.
Yeah.
I didn't want that with this coin. So we went over to Radium.
Okay.
We created the Phantom wallets.
Yeah.
We went through Phantom. And it's funny because now after the Hawk Tour, I think she was with Phantom as well.
I believe so, yeah.
They actually have an auditing system. They want to make sure they're starting to prevent it. So there is some platforms that are starting to try to put regulations in place. So it took us maybe about 3 or 4 days for them to approve us. Okay. That even my developers had to get approved. Yeah. They wanted to make sure they were never involved in any rug pulls. So with that, I felt good. Once that cleared, okay, we're off to the races now. And I just felt, how can I give back to my viewers? So what I did was, and I'm thinking, Cosa Nostra means our family, our thing. Crypto Nostra, our thing. I had so many people, Tom, throughout the years, Dom, how can I make money? Can you help me out? Can you do this? Can you do that? So I'm thinking with this crypto, you know what? There's ways we could all make money. And I'll get into that later on, I'm sure, with your question. Yeah. So I won't go into it right now. Yeah. But I figured out a way that my viewers, everybody, my supporters, my loyal followers could all come on board. And when I first started, I told people, if you have $5, $10, $20, put it toward, instead of buying a pack of cigarettes, buy some of the coin, invest. And if you don't have money, we'll create a platform for that too, influencer platform, which we did. So I just felt I need the help of the viewers, everybody out there, and this is bigger. I want to create a legacy. I want to leave behind a legacy. That's why I figured, let me come out with Crypto Nostra.
Okay, so one of the things, though, and we know this because there are informants that are online, what we read, what we talk about, maybe knowing some people in life. The Mafia life and Cosa Nostra life inside is backstabbing, treachery, and respectfully, not like really good people, right? So I get what you're trying to do on the Mafia and the Mafia coin, but on the other end, isn't kind of the antithesis of what you want? Because maybe back at one point, there was honor, there was family, there was commitment, there was omerta, but now it's kind of like a little different. Is it a little kind of a little bit of a hypocritical kind of angle to say, hey, we're going to create a Cosa Nostra, we're going to create a Cosa, a Crypto Nostra, and it's going to be around a mafia kind of theme. Is that a little hypocritical?
Great question. Yes, if I was a new age former mobster. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Now, people are probably saying Dom's losing his mind. He cooperated with the government. He ratted. He violated the code of Cosa Nostra. Tom, as you know, throughout the years, I don't make excuses. Yeah. However, I can say my boss wore a wire. My other boss was talking about me committing murders. And then he wanted me to take the witness stand. So at some point, I said, you know what? Loyalty works both ways. I'm out. Okay. But I still have that old school mentality. I only violated my code of honor that one time when I decided to cooperate, turn my life around. Now, with that said, there is still loyalty and honor in the life. There's people, they abide by it. And funny that you bring this up. My book that's coming out, it's the limited edition's already out. I just have to send them out. Yeah. But we'll be on Amazon, Barnes and Noble's paperback probably by the end of the month. Okay. It's called The Perfect Crime Family. It's about old school tradition. Yeah. And it talks about the way the life should be ran. So I figured, since the book is coming out with Crypto Nostra, it's about loyalty. It's about honor. Let's bring back the old school ways. Let's help the people, because the mafia was created to help the people, to keep out the outside corrupt forces. Yeah. Back in Sicily. Yeah. So let's bring that back. You know, just because it says mafia or Cosa Nostra doesn't mean it's illegal. It's not illegal. The acts that are committed are illegal.
That is true. That is true. I had, oh God, what's his name? God, I'm drawing a blank. He's a famous author in the UK, one of the biggest authors. I'm drawing a blank right now, and he was talking about how the mafia started in Sicily to help protect the citrus groves, the
Right.
landowners, and that kind of stuff. And then it obviously went into an area that was obviously illegal and then perpetuated here in the U.S. All right, so we're going to get into the tokenomics, and this is where, yesterday we spoke, but I'm going to kind of re-ask certain things because I want to better understand, and also for people that are watching on my platform and people that are kind of checking out from yours that didn't see last night's show. All right, so what's the total amount circulating and the supply of the token, and then what's the distribution schedule? Because this is 2 billion out there. Did you kind of like shoot your wad and that's what's out there, or is say 2 billion but is less released? Give us kind of how many are out there and what's the plan to distribute the coins.
Okay. We minted 2 billion coins. That's it. No more coins could be minted with locked in. What we did was we're taking 30%, which is 600 million coins, and it's going into a gaming app. It's going to be a free game. You download from Apple, and it's called Rise to Power. It's a mafia themed game. And as people are playing the game, they can mine their coins. So at the end of a month, 2 months, 3 months, if somebody has $50, $100, $10, they could do whatever they want with those coins. They could cash them in. They could use them in the gaming app to buy things. Whatever they want to do, it's their coins.
And when's that projected to be released?
That should be. I was supposed to have the prototype this week, but due to some glitches, I was told by the middle of next week I'll have that. After that, probably about 3 more weeks. So we're looking maybe 4 to 5 weeks.
Apple and Android?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So on both. Okay. So it's tethered. 30% of it, or 600 million coins, are tethered to the game, and theoretically, the better the game does, theoretically that 30% does, because the coins get mined, right?
Correct.
And it goes up. But we talked about this last night. But the equity or the ownership of the game is not housed in the same entity as the Memecoin, correct?
No, it's not. It's under the same umbrella. So
yes, umbrella, but not same entity.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So, it's a different entity.
So if you have a decent amount of users and it does create revenue, right? That revenue goes to support the Memecoin, correct?
Correct. It's going back into the main company. Correct.
Okay. So what are the things whenever you start an app, you need 2 things. One, you need downloads, and then the second is you need daily active users. So you can maybe get downloads when nobody uses it, or you get people to download and they use it and then they stop. You need daily active users. And it's not an inexpensive proposition. What type of resources are you going to put towards getting the game off the ground? Because it seems like if the game's not successful, the Memecoin is going to suffer.
Well, I look at it this way. Usually when you have mafia, you have a lot of enthusiasts, especially with gaming, and they want to rise to power. So say you take a Dominic Cicale and a Joey Molino, they're battling. People are just going to be enticed, especially we have platforms that we could promote it ourselves. So I don't see it not failing the gaming app, especially it's free. And the second is people can mine coins that at the end of the day, they could cash in. So here they're playing the game, having fun, and maybe make a few dollars at the end of it.
So not to get too granular, but it's kind of my nature. Because you're developing an app and there's development costs, right? And you're, on the low end, it could be 250, 300, 500,000, right? Are you going to have a clawback to get that money back first before it goes to the coin, or is the initial $1 going to go to the coin?
No, everything I've invested, I have myself and my partner, everything we've put up, it's going back into the coin. And I've listened throughout the years, I have businesses that were successful, businesses that failed. Thank God, more successful than the failures.
Yeah.
And you always have to put it back in from the initial start. You can't be short-sighted. You just can't count on anything. And as long as you're throwing it back in, listen, if money's being generated and you put it back in, obviously it's going to be successful because you have a revenue now coming in, and you're actually supporting the cause, whatever you're doing, whatever you're putting out there. So it's not for the short term. This is for long term.
Okay, so I need to get a breakdown, if you don't mind. Or
Sure.
I'd like a breakdown of the token allocation. What's going to the team? We'll get into that in a second. Advisors, marketing, dev, community, pre-sale, holdback. Give us that. We could always do backups on the back end. We could post later the details, but give us a top line of the breakdown of the token allocation.
Well, you have 30% towards the game. 30% goes into the company / team. The pre-sale was 20%.
Okay.
The open market was that went out to the open market 16.25%. And then for marketing purposes, 3.75%.
But really quick, for the pre-sale at the 20%, you satisfied that round. That sold out, correct?
Yes, it did. It sold out with my viewers, friends, and whoever else wanted to buy coins. Yes, that sold out.
So you basically had a friends and family round, viewers, that kind of stuff.
Well, it was open to everybody, but right. Initially, I brought it on my podcast, told everybody, and then after they purchased it, it was open to the public, and it took maybe about 5 to 7 days, and we were sold out.
Okay, so it's fair to say, and these are averages. 200 people on average put out about a G note or $1,000 towards the coin on average. If you made
right, if that's the numbers, correct. I didn't break it down like that, but right, correct.
Got it. And then how did you tee it up to friends and family? It's a little different than teeing it up to your community at on YouTube. Did you position this as a meme coin or as an investment?
I told everybody this is a meme coin / utility we're creating something different.
Okay.
It's not a rug pull. I was first and foremost with that, because at this point, my age, everything I've been through in my life, I see the bigger picture down the road. If something's done right, I have a lot of people that trust and believe in me. And like I said, this is, to me, it's a family thing. It's creating Crypto Nostra, my family, a family where we grow together, we build together. And I want to just prove the world that there are still good people out there. It doesn't matter how many times you fail in life or you do wrong things in life. You know what, Tom? This is the first time in my adult life. I'm home since 2013. And I had a lot of opportunities to go down that path again, and I haven't. I mean, I don't even have a parking ticket since I've been home. So in a way, I'm very proud of myself, what I've been through, the way I've adapted, acclimated back into society, being a civilian. And I just want to give back in a sense. Of course, it's going to be for my own selfish reasons too down the road, but because I see the bigger picture, but I want to bring everybody with me along the way.
All right. So just I'm not super looking at the chat, guys, but just really quick, a rug pull is an analogy if somebody pulls a rug, the stock goes up, like Trump stock went up to 70, then shot down by about like 80%, then shot back up. People sell or pull the rug, take money off the table, and screw everybody else, like a GameStop with Robinhood, again, Hawk 2, etc. So that is a rug pull. All right. So one thing I found interesting about last night's conversation, you hold 25% of the coin yourself, correct?
No, we hold 30%.
I'm sorry. You hold 30%, but you hold 75% of that 30%, correct?
Correct. Yes, in the company.
Sorry. So your total amount is 25, and 5% are the other insiders, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You're 25%, and the one area that I do have a challenge is you don't have a lockup on your 25%. I really need you to kind of convince me why you don't have a lockup.
But let me correct you with that. Number one, it's really 30% that's in the company.
Yeah.
So it's not divvied up. So the company has to make the decision when it's time to maybe sell a few coins, put a few coins back out into the market.
Yeah, but you're majority, meaning,
yes,
I'm assuming you have a cap table. If you're greater than 50.1%, they can't do anything without you.
Correct. That's true.
Okay.
The reason why I didn't put usually it's 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tank my own company that I threw $500,000 into it. I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to allow anybody else to do it.
Okay.
And from the research I did behind it, when you lock it in, it has to be made public.
Correct.
Okay. So if I lock in a year from now, and statistically, the odds when people know, okay, this is going, say we're in December 20th, and they know by December 30th, we have access to that 600 million to let loose into the market, everybody sells.
Well, yes, they could sell before the lockup period, but that's the point, to kind of give it the opportunity to build utility and to get it off the ground. So even if he does sell, there's people that are there to buy it. I mean, I'm
not necessarily knowing that the lockup period ends majority of the time, and I did a lot of stock trading too, so I know.
Yeah.
You know, when they sell, it's hard. Yeah, you're correct though. After that time, so say everybody sells, dumps it December 20th, December 30th comes around. Now you'll have spectators sitting back. It might take 6 months or another year to get momentum, but yes, it will come back up because we have utility behind it. But I'm not here. It could be 2 years. It could be 3 years. It could be a year. It depends the success of the coin. What I'm going to do is use those coins to enhance the company. I'm not looking to cash out. I feel I have a golden goose here. So I want to build with this goose. I want to grow it. I want to build it with our ecosystem. So beyond, once we have everything lined up, we're up and running. It might take maybe 3 to 4 months. Online shopping, NFTs, the gaming app, and we see growth. If need be, I want to back my own credit card. I want to do a Crypton Nora credit card because
I don't want to get too far ahead, because I want to go through a process to unpack the
right. But you asked me my thoughts with that.
Yeah. Right. No. You were totally right, and I probably even was a little, shouldn't even ask that exact question. That's actually on me. But so I'm with you on the allocation. That makes sense. Why not lock up the pre-sale then? Because you have 200 people. You made $1,000. It's worth 1,100 now. They're not going to sell for $100. But when it gets to 10,000, all you need is a Discord or a board, or somebody see, oh shit, it's worth $10,000. I'm going to go to my wife. She's going to say, shit, you better sell. I like Dominic, but she's going to sell. Why not have a lockup on the pre-sale?
I believed in the people, and we were so diversified. We'll take Tokconomics, for instance.
Yeah.
After they had only 10 wallets. They held 97% in 10 wallets.
Yeah.
We had maybe, I think, 150 wallets that held the 400. So we were basically spread out, which I liked, which was good.
Okay.
So we had people coming in who picked up $4,000 worth, who picked up $100 worth, who picked up $25 worth. So we were basically spread out, and that's what I wanted. So I want people to feel comfortable, not locked in, because then people will get nervous. Oh my God, I'm stuck for 6 months. I'm stuck for 3 months. I want people to be comfortable. We put up a lot of our own money, our resources, and especially with my background, Tom.
Yeah.
People have to feel comfortable. They have to trust. And I want to be as transparent as possible with everything.
All right. So I'm with you on you are the coin, right? It's like the Trump coin. You are essentially the Mafia coin, essentially, right? So let's just say, for sake of discussion, you have a good following now. People trust you. They buy in. They hold. You're holding on to 60%, one of which is tethered to the app, and the other 30% is tethered to the team. For what you can disclose, who are the other team members? Who are the other team members and advisors that you can discuss? What's their background and what expertise do they have?
I'm not going to disclose names because I didn't ask for permission to do so.
No, you can give out archetypes, a developer, right. Whatever that is.
Well, we have our developer who does gaming apps. He does the NFT, the meme coins.
Okay.
We have marketing people on board. We have business people who, they have different types of companies. And I feel a lot of sales, a lot of people into sales.
Okay.
And I just feel I put a diversified team together where, everybody's work. We have a design company that does creates products out there. So, we bounce things off of each other. We have our meetings and we figure out what could work, what cannot work. And I'm a stickler with this cannot be a rug pull. We have to secure it. That was my thing. So anybody that comes on talking smack like a Jeff Nadeau, they're talking out of their butt without really realizing. And to compare us to a Cryptoteu or even a Trump coin, Trump has no utility behind it. He just has the name. He is the president of the United States. That carries a lot of weight. But there's no utility. There's no substance behind his coin other than a name. We're putting substance. We're building off of substance and a foundation. And that's what makes us different.
Well, let me ask you though, and Jeff obviously has his opinion. He shared his opinion publicly. I think there were some other people that were, somewhat critical of the coin. You can at least understand why they're critical in this climate of the Trump coin, of the Cryptoteu debacle, and a few other Doge kind of going from 70 cents down to, pennies. You can at least understand why people feel the way they feel. You may not agree with it, Dom, but you can at least understand it though, correct?
I can understand it, but even yourself, Tom, you might be critical of it, but you know what? You're thorough at what you do. Let me speak to Dom. Let me get him on. Let me go through it. You're not going to make allegations that are unfounded against me or what I'm building like Jeff Nadeau did.
What about with your team? If I invest and I'm on the approve that I invest, I have the wallet and that kind of stuff behind the scenes, or at least as an investor, can you disclose who the team members are and their positions?
You could actually go on the website and you'll see, and I structured it as Mafia, boss, underboss, consigliere. We have a law firm that's up there as the consigliere. They handle all the legal aspects, and they're a prestigious law firm out of West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
So, I structure it where we're a family. We're together. We're a group.
So the team outside of your portion that is on the team, did their portion vest at launch, or they have a vesting schedule?
You know what? They trust in me. The vesting is being held in the company. Like I told them, when the time comes that we do release some of the coins into the market, then everybody will be taken care of. But in the meantime, we're coming out of pocket, paying the developers, the marketing. It's all out of pocket. I am not touching. My thing is to keep stability in the coin, which we maintained. I think we're up and running, 6 days now? Yeah. And it's only increased.
So you're willing to put out, $250,000, $500,000, maybe $750,000, or through investors, that's your business. You're willing to put out said money with the idea of getting the appreciation of your 30 or 60% to be greater for that return.
Yes, not willing. I did put my money where my mouth is, and so did my partner.
Can you share a range of how much you're in for?
Probably we're hitting over $500,000.
Okay. Well, I said it last night, which I'm still amazed at. 6 days you have generated an increase in market cap on just your end, $600,000. So that's not bad for a week's worth, Dom.
No, but you know what? I don't look at the short term, because if I was, listen, as you well know, and I don't know if the people out there, the viewers know, I could have went on pump.com.
Yeah.
It would have cost me maybe $20,000, $30,000. And within 2 or 3 days, I could have walked away with $1 million plus. Just generating through my site, through my followers. Yeah. And that's called a rug pull. I wouldn't do that. To me, I want to leave behind a legacy. I want to show the world, the people, you know what? Just because I was a criminal in my past life, now I'm home. I'm doing good things. Listen, I did humanitarian work, which wound up, it didn't start out that way in Africa. I want to leave behind something where, wow, This guy created a Mafia Coin. He was in the Mafia, and look at the success of it when you have coins like Tokconomics, and who knows what might happen with other coins. I don't want to say.
Yeah.
But there's no utility behind them. They're just a name.
Well, so that's what we're going to spend a good amount of time on. I want you to give specifics. You don't have to go to micro details. It could be macro, top line. But I want to wrap my head around the ecosystem, the utility, because you're claiming it's a stable coin, which is a bold claim. So go through the ecosystem and the utility that you intend to have on the coin.
Well, the ecosystem, our main foundation is the gaming app. Okay. That gives the stability because there's so much locked up into the gaming app. And then the company, we're going to hold it and have full control over that. So even if everybody in the company, let's sell, they can't do anything. Have majority share of that.
Yeah.
And then what's on the open market, basically. There's only, out of the open market, there's 75 million coins that are allocated for influences and marketing. And what I did was we're taking 50 million of those coins, we're putting it in a pool to have my viewers, people out there like yourself. If you say, Dom, I want to be part of it, sign up. You have terms and conditions to live up to. And we're not going to accept more than 400 people to sign up. So say 400 people sign up, 50 million coins gets distributed amongst those 100 people. That's 500,000 coins per person.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be benchmarks on those parameters to that the coins get released. But it entices everybody when we post something. They're going to have to repost it, put it out there. Those people are marketers. So
so one of the things that I don't disagree with, in a way, almost like a multi-level marketing approach. Multi-level marketing gets a bad name, but it's some of the most successful companies in the world, like Amway and so forth. So I understand the idea of me being an advocate, me sharing, and me getting a reward for sharing the coin. So I don't disagree with that. But as a marketer, where I think that I'm just questioning is only 3.8% is allocated to marketing. That's a little low. Now you're kind of betting on 200 some odd people who are respectfully, we have an older demographic here in the mob genre. We're not, 23-year-olds. We're not, I have a decent social media following because I do it for a living. But like I got a buddy who's not even on social media. So you're relying on like a subset of people that are probably not as socially minded because it could just get the age or that kind of stuff to give this a success and a lower percentage towards marketing. So even if you do want to go big on marketing, you know what I'm saying? Like did you feel like you might have under-resourced the marketing allocation?
No, not really, because I'm basically using myself as the anchor for the marketing. So I'm out there, I'm a big presence, and I gravitate to a lot of the younger demographics. And it's funny that you say it. This weekend, this Saturday, we're heading down to Brickell in Miami.
Nice.
So I'm going with the young lady. We're going to hit the streets and talk to these young kids and talk about the mafia, the meme coin, what they think, and put it out there, hit the younger demographics. But in the meantime, we were talking today we had a team meeting, and I'm also putting for marketing, I might be throwing close to $100,000 into marketing out of my pocket. So I'm not counting on the coin. I'm counting on cash dollars.
Got it. All right. So in the utility, I had some notes from yesterday that I want to break down. So essentially, you're going to have a store where I can buy coffee. There might be a workout for guys or girls. There may be cigars. There may be vodka. So it might be like almost like a little virtual mini mall of places that I can use to use this currency. Give me kind of like the breakdown. When is that going to be available? And give us a little more color on that.
We anticipate it should be out probably in a week or two. It's going to start out. We're going to start out small, maybe with shirts, hats, cups, whatever.
Yeah.
But my thing is, and I'm bringing in people. I spoke to somebody today. They own some massive card trading facilities,
Yeah.
brick and mortar, where you could buy Pokemon cards, you could buy Babe Ruth collectors items. So, like I said, like I present to everybody, and I just had a call tonight before this show. People who are ever selling, if you're selling costume jewelry, just take, for instance, you, Tom, you have costume jewelry, you have a website. You want to come on my website? I'm fine with that. Come on. There'll be a cash price. So if you're selling this bottle for $30, what's my price? You tell me, Dom, I'll give it to you for $20. Then you buy, it'll be on the website, pay $30 or use Crypto Nostra for $20. And if they buy it for $20, I'll send you the money. You make the fulfillment to the client, to the customer. And that's what I'm creating. I'm creating an ecosystem with the coin. I want it to be used. I'm going to entice people. My objective is, I don't care as long as I break out even with my sales, my thing is the coin. The coin. Because at the end of the day, the coin's going to be much more valuable than any sales that the website makes.
Well, I agree with you on attaching utility to it. And I understand that, like, you'll have like vendor relationships. It might be some stuff that you own and you might make money off of selling the bottle. So I'm with you on that. But given the kind of nature of that requires market, that requires money. How much runway do you think you have that you could support this, even if things don't go as well as you would like? Are you looking a year horizon, 2-year horizon? What type of runway do you have financially to support this?
Well, I think it's self-supporting. I don't see it's. Listen, the more companies I bring in here's another one. We have Oral 4. These are like travel kits, toothbrush, toothpaste, breath spray, dental floss, all in one. It's the size of a pen. So we put this on the website and it's selling, say, for $10 a pack, or use Crypto Nostra for $5 a pack. But it's somebody else's company. So they're coming in, and I actually have a piece of the company. But if it's somebody else's company, if I didn't have a piece, there's no outlay for me.
Yeah.
It's going on my website. Cool. Now the t-shirts, all the mob wear, the Cosa Nostra wear, the lounge wear, the cigars. Yes, those are my things. So they're already in progress. They're already being sold. The clothes aren't, the cigars are. So it's just, there's not that much of an outlay as you would think. So, okay. And bringing other companies on board to come onto the website, there's no, all I have to do is post it up, put it up, and we take the orders. Once the funds come in, whichever, either cash or the crypto, we pay for it, you fulfill it.
But what's your marketing plan? Because what I'm gathering here is you need a lot of people that are going to feed into this, right, from different fronts.
Correct.
Acquire them to drive them to the on-store mall, to drive them to invest in the ecosystem, to drive people to the app to mine the coins. And I'm saying this with the fullest respect, but I have to say this.
No, go ahead. I understand.
The essence is you need a really strong media strategy, and it can't be fighting with Nadu and Merlino. Like, what I'm getting at is I'm kind of with you on like where the chess pieces go. But then if you look like your last 5 lives, it's like the Nadu and Merlino fest. What I'm getting at is, are you going to switch up your content to reach a broader audience, or how are you going to get a bigger ecosystem? Because I think you're limiting yourself on the content that you're doing.
Well, I'm going to partner up with you, come on your show, and then we'll have a broader audience.
all 50 people. Love it.
There you go. Now, what I plan on doing, though, Tom, I'm in talks with some other people, too.
Yeah.
And that's why I created Mafia Roundtable. If you notice, /Cicale's Corner Unfiltered.
Yeah, that's your,
We want to start diversifying. We want to start bringing on people, doing interviews, having sit-downs, and reaching out. But nowadays, from what I noticed, even the YouTube, I mean, they give you promotions. TikTok is doing it.
Yeah.
So even if I start going on TikTok that I'm advertising. Now, if you have, say, a a water company, or you're selling beverages on your website, and you integrate with me, you already have your stability. This is just something extra. I'm hitting a different audience. So if somebody comes on my website and they say, oh, I like that drink, let me buy it, it's still going through you. It costs me nothing other than posting it up, putting it there, taking in the order, and giving it to you.
So I'm with you on you created the 2 billion coins, right? Which is a lot, but it's a lot, but it's not, but it is, right? And you don't have any lockups or any gates. I understand that you kind of touched on that a little bit. But there's going to be speculation, there's going to be stuff. Are you going to have any modality or way to, as the coins get mined from the game, is there going to be another way to maybe burn some of the coins to keep the kind of the availability at a certain level, or maybe burn some of the coins to increase the value of the coins? I know it's a technical question, but are you gonna have any type of burning mechanism in your game plan?
Actually, it's funny that you say that, because I had that discussion today. If need be, we're playing it as we go.
Okay.
So if I have to burn coins, we burn coins. But what I would like to do, and I brought this up today, if we have a successful gaming app that we see, because remember, it's free. And when people hear something free where they could mine their own coins, it becomes valuable. So out of the 30% we're holding, if need be, I would take another 20. If I see the gaming app is taking off and we have to come up with a sister app or a brother app to it, we have the coins to put into another gaming app, which, listen, you go with what works.
Yeah.
So that's why it's there. That's why it's sitting there. It's for the company. Because at the end of the day, more people that are playing the game, the more people that are going on shopping, using the coin, the more people that are buying the NFTs with the coin, makes the coin more valuable.
Now, as we know, this is not SEC monitored, and it is a little bit of a Wild West. And it's, again, that they called it legalized Ponzi scheme. And I know you got to be careful about utility and rewards. However, within kind of compliance, if you will, which is not a ton, you're going to offer some type of rewards. Like if you have the coin, maybe there's a cigar night in Miami. Are you going to have tiers? Are you going to have something other than, the mall? Is there going to be any membership kind of benefits without, while maintaining SEC compliance? Are there any for that?
I didn't even think of that. That's a good thought, but you gave me some good ideas with that. I like that. Maybe a cigar night or travel, just something. No, I like that. I didn't even think of that.
So the other part is, you mentioned about generating revenue, right? And how is it going to benefit the token holder? Because, not to get too far ahead, but as I understand, is as money comes in, it goes, 30% to the team, 30% for development. There's an anti-Semite foundation component. A good friend of yours, obviously, it's against anti-Semitism, of course, where there's a kind of a philanthropic component. So I'm with you on all the different machinations on where that money goes. But at the end of the day, it is technically kind of a shareholder. Like if you say to me it's a meme coin and it's fun and fuck it, I'm with you, right? But if there is an investment standpoint, how does the coin owner benefit by the money coming back into all those things and not a buyback? I don't know, you could do a buyback, but how does that benefit the token holder?
Well, what you're talking about where those funds are going, that's coming from the tax. There's a 1% transfer fee tax.
Okay.
Every trade. For every trade, correct.
Okay.
So once that comes in, 25% will go to a foundation, which will be for anti-Semitism. 50% goes back into the gaming app.
Okay.
To redevelop it, to upgrade it continuously. So everything that pays for itself. And then 25% goes back into the company, whether it be I need more marketing done. So it's sustainable. Now, for the person that buys the coin, what we're creating in the ecosystem is value. So the more times the coin is traded, bought and sold, the higher price it goes up. It goes up. You could have 10 million trades in one day, it even out, but the coin will go up because you have the market makers. They handle it. It's not us. We don't handle that. So as long as the market makers are trading out that coin back and forth, it brings the value up with the coin. So as long as that happens, then the holder of the coin, they have an option. They could sell it. You know,
but to be that active at trading, you're going to need a lot of holders and a lot of activity. So we were talking earlier, like briefly, because I wanted it to be fresh.
right.
So one thing I was surprised at was the volatility is at 21%, which is low for this type of coin, especially this early. But so that's a good thing. But for what you're saying, I'm with you on if there's a 1% and there's a market makers and there's buying and selling all activity, even if it goes up a little bit or goes down a little bit, we'll kind of make money off of the arbitrage, right? So I agree with you on that. But then again, that imputes a large amount of people buying and selling. So the one part is on the demand side, I guess you doing media, you building your channel and that kind of stuff is going to help build it. Is going to be big enough? That remains to be seen.
But Tom, let me just interrupt you one minute while you're on that topic.
Yeah.
You said 21%, and that's very low for the volatility.
It is low, yeah.
And you know why that is?
You tell me.
Because of my loyal followers, the people behind me, they believe in me, they trust in me. So they're with me. So they know if I tell them, guys, okay, you do me a favor, sell a little bit, recoup, they're going to listen because they have faith in me the way they do right now. And that's why it's so low. I have such a strong base, and you have a lot of them here now.
Yeah.
They came on. I mean, and that's why we created Crypton Nora, our thing. It's a family. We'll grow together. As long as people aren't impatient, which this day and age, you have a lot of that. But I have a lot of people too. They believe, they see the future. They see growth. And that's why we have low volatility right now. Because otherwise, listen, there's people 30%, 40% up already on the coin within 6 days. They haven't sold. They believe in me. Because I polled, when we first started, I did a community group. I put it out there. I didn't tell anybody what we were doing. If you want to invest, we had over 200 people that signed up.
Yeah,
there was maybe about 100 and something that came onto that community group. So when I was polling them, asking them offline, they're like, "Dom, we're not going to sell. We believe in you. Dom, we're not." They all had the same thing. We know this thing's going to go. We believe in you. Just, we got you back. And sure as crap, you see it now. For a meme coin, there's the volatility. We probably set a precedent right now with the meme coin with volatility.
Now, one of the things though is you're relying heavily on the app, and tech teams are very volatile. How did you find the tech team? Is it US? Is it state? Is it overseas? Do you kind of have a CTO overseeing it? Because you're not a tech founder, right?
Correct.
And
I have a dear friend of mine. He owns 123 Designs.
Okay.
They're out of Sarasota. And I go back with him maybe about 5 years now.
Okay.
And I went through him. Here's what we have to do. Dom, I got you. I got you back. Let's do it. And he did the Oral 4. So many products he's put out there. So I trusted in him, and it's just about relationship.
But so he's a design guy, but he has tech relationships.
Yes, he has all the tech guys. He brought the tech guys to the table. That's correct.
Okay. And are those tech guys hit the keyboards, pay me when I'm done, or they're paid in coin, or paid in both?
No, they're paid in cash. And I told them, I said, if you listen, you're working with Leo all these years. Trust me. I go back with him a long time. I will pay you. And then you'll have as long as it's successful, you'll have a vested interest. You'll be part of the team.
Interesting. Okay. How are you gonna? And I get you got loyal followers. I get people gonna hold on to it. I get people are gonna, they're gonna want to preserve it. It's almost a sense of pride. You do your daily lives, and people are gonna hang out. I'm with you on that, but that's just your foundation. What mechanisms are you gonna put in place to control the inflation or deflation of the token over time? And what type of triggers, what mechanisms are you going to have in place that are going to either hedge against deflation or inflation?
The only thing, all I could say with that is we're going to be relying eventually a lot on our online shopping. So as long as I'm giving out, put it this way, we'll be the Temu of crypto.
Okay.
Where I don't, again, Tom, I don't, as long as I'm breaking even on my shopping center, that's all I'm worried about. As long as it's self-sustaining in that sense, I don't care about a profit. We could break out even every time.
Yeah.
It's about the coin. Everything's about the coin. As long as we're giving value to people, they're going to come back and buy and use it. And as long as they use it, it increases the coin, it increases the value. And I just created a currency out of a meme coin. Hasn't been done before. Not that I know of.
Well, okay. So we talked a little bit about there is a medium of exchange on the platform, right? It's a platform that it's on.
Correct.
Buy and sell it, that kind of stuff. And the value of the store, etc. But what specific problems or what itches is this coin going to scratch? What is a unique value proposition that this is going to offer its your target audience and its investors?
Well, the unique value is anywhere from 20 to 50% savings on the store. The gaming app where they could mine coins. And it's just that's basically it. That's it in a nutshell. That's where the value comes in. And then eventually, hopefully, if we grow large enough, then the credit card, the debit card, I want to create a bank. That's a vision. That's a vision. It's far off right now because we're just starting out. But just like Facebook, when Facebook started out, look at them. It was a college. They were in college communicating with each other. Did anybody ever think it would be this mammoth of a company this day? No. So, we start out with a vision. We start out with a solid foundation, which I have. And we take it from there. We grow it from there.
So I'm with you on the vision, right? I get it, right? If it makes enough money and there's 3,000 people, you might have a white label credit card. You might maybe be able to go to ATM. I'm with you on the lofty goals, right? But like you said, if somebody don't laugh at your dreams are not big enough. But I just want to know, what's your next milestone? Give me okay, you launched, it's worth right now as of this second 1.13 million. I got a few buys that came in. I think that was Brett that bought some. So you got some buys from some new people. You're going in the right direction. Talk to me like I'm 3 years old. What's the next milestone specifically that I can really hold on to, that I can hold you to? Oh, in 6 weeks, stores launched. I expect, I don't know, 20,000 in sales a month. I expect blah, blah. Give me the next or first milestone, not in terms of vision, but in terms of tactics.
Milestones for the store, I can't give you any milestones. You know why? Because this is all new. I'm hitting a new frontier with it. So is the store going to be successful? Absolutely. I don't see why it shouldn't be. We're giving people discounts. And like I said, it's all new. So I wouldn't state something that I can't back. I can't back if it's going to be successful or not. But I can tell you one thing. I'm giving people an opportunity, especially in this environment where prices are high. I'm giving things at my cost. So if you're going to save 50%, whether it be on we have aerosol fire extinguishers, we have coffee, we have Cosa Nostra travel. If you're going to save 20 to 50% on these things, I mean, if people want to save, they could come on, use Crypto Nostra, and it's increasing the coin. So that's my objective. So to say what I'm going to make, I don't know. But I'm putting my best foot forward. I'm using a lot of street smarts and common sense and the pulse of the people. So I know people, they need help right now. They need to they need discounts. That's why Temu is so successful. So basically, we're going to be the Cryptoteu, the new Cryptoteu, hopefully.
All right. So I don't like to block, and I don't like look at a lot of the comments. One guy was in a little too hard, in my opinion. I had to block him. Thank you for the heads up, Cynthia. And then number two, the guy saying an anti-Semitic remark that will never fly here ever. All right. So the other thing is, and when I was watching Jeff when he said this, I mean, he might have been a little more caustic when he said this, but your target audience that you have, right? And I don't know your analytics. I can at least look at mine. It's really from like probably skews like 35 to 55.
Yeah, we have the same demographic.
Yeah. So, but that's not the NFT, crypto market. So you don't see like a little incongruency there where it's like you're pitching, like Solana to somebody, and some of us, including me, might think Solana is a solar company. Right. You don't like talk to us about that like possible incongruency, which your core market and your fans, but people that are in the market for NFTs and crypto.
Where we are different with that is my core market is my base, my foundation.
Yeah.
And my loyal followers. So we're good there. That's why this weekend I'm heading down to Brickell.
Okay.
We're going to start targeting the younger market. And listen, I'm just getting involved in this. I'm a dinosaur. But you know what? Like the Mafia, I had a lot of street sense. I had a lot of vision. I was very successful. I rose very quickly. I didn't do it because I was stupid, because I was just one of these buffoons out there, strong-arming people. I did it with finesse. I did it with ingenuity, foresight. And I'm using all the skills I've obtained in the streets now in a legitimate aspect. So I'm learning as I go. I'm bringing younger people on. I have a gentleman also as part of the team. He's out in Gainesville. He has the colleges. He's been dealing with them for 15, 20 years, doing promotions with them, bringing them to frat parties. So I have him. I bounce things off of him. What's the young generation thinking? What do they want? What are they looking for? And with the people around me, Dom, you have to go down to Brickell, bring your bling, they told me. Bring your jewelry, wear it, and we'll do something light with these young kids. Talk about the Mafia. Maybe give away a few dollars. Ask them about Crypto Nostra. How do they feel? And just start hitting the younger market, the younger demographics. So that's what I'm doing this weekend.
That's interesting. All right. So if you could give me even one, I know you're in some kind of groundbreaking territory, for good or bad, we'll find out. But you're in groundbreaking territory. Any competitors or any kind of case studies or use cases that you could say, hey, I want to mimic X or I want to mimic Y? And if so, how are you similar or how are you different?
To mimic? I want to mimic.
I couldn't find
one.
No,
that's a good question, though. And to answer it, I want to mimic Temu. They're successful at what they do. They give out for discount pricing. They're great. So I'm integrating that concept into the currency. I'm going to show people, when people go up and you look at a website and you see if something's selling, say a t-shirt selling for $40, retail 40, use Crypto Nostra, it's 25. Some of the people might say, what the hell is Crypto Nostra? We're going to have a link on there where they download, boom, they could go buy it. Let me get the Crypto Nostra. So that's, I'm using basically what's already out there, but we're integrated into the crypto, into the ecosystem. And that's the best way I could explain it. Just like the gaming app. You have gaming apps out there. People play for hours and hours on end. They get nothing out of it. Here they're getting to mine coins. So why am I going to play this game? This game is similar. It's Mafia themed. I love the Mafia. Let me play it where I can mine coins. At the end of the day, I can make some money.
So to kind of spitfire question, if the game does well and it burns off tokens and it requires further development, UI, UX, and the like, is the increase in the token going to be able to keep up with the developmental needs? Or do you envision maybe keeping some cash on the sidelines just in case?
Well, remember, we have revenue coming in from the games. If the game's doing that well, our ad revenue will be through the roof. So it goes back into the development of the game. So whatever we need, we'll have in the ecosystem.
Now, conversely, let's just say you have some NFTs, you have the ecosystem, I call the virtual mall, but the game is a lagger. The game is just not uptaking. You need to redevelop. Conversely, if it needs more cash, is there going to be enough in the liquidity pool to draw from, or would you have to pull out of your pocket?
It's coming out of my pocket.
And no clawback, huh? Like you'd be in your right to say, "Hey guys, I'm in for $500,000. Here's an IOU." You're not doing that.
No, this is my baby. This is going to be my legacy. And listen, I'll even share with you because I forgot about this too.
Yeah.
We were talking the other day. I was talking with 123 Designs. We're even thinking about doing, if everything goes off, now this is down the road, even doing a metaverse, coming out with a metaverse with a club where people come in. I'm there. There's so many different things. But you know what? We're on the forefront of all this. And I just, there's so much potential if it's done properly. You know, we're crawling, walking, and running.
All right. So with every investment, and I know this, you cannot guarantee and you will not guarantee the success, right? But give us like the black swan scenario, the 1% chance or whatever percent chance. Let's say it's higher than 1% respectfully, but give us the chance it doesn't succeed. Black swan event. What does that look like?
If it doesn't succeed, I lose a lot of money. That's what it doesn't look like. I lose a lot of money, and that's it. You know, I'm a big boy. I've lost before, I made before. And then, like I said in the beginning, thank God my successes outweigh my failures in life. I've been blessed in that sense. So I'm just dedicated. And all the people that know me, that's been following me throughout the years, I work. Whenever I put my mind to something, you could believe I will be successful, just the way I was in the streets, just the way I was in the mafia, just the way I am now in my new life. Remember, I came home from jail. I had $25,000 with a pat on my back in a city I knew no one. Within 2 years, I was into 7 figures. And that, you know, it's just, I don't give up. There's plenty of times, and I tell the younger kids this, it doesn't matter how many times you fall down. Pick yourself back up. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Keep on going, because eventually you're going to succeed. And when you do succeed, you'll feel good about yourself that you picked yourself back up. So in life, you achieve nothing. Watch this one. You ready, Tom?
Yeah.
You achieve nothing in life without hard work.
There you go. So give us the biggest challenge, because I'm with you on the utility is really dependent on the game, the virtual mall, and then kind of the ancillary stuff that you may do, right? The credit card kind of stuff, right? What is the potential risk associated with those different parts of the ecosystem? And I touched on a little bit, but I want a little bit of a deeper answer. Like what are those risks?
Okay, the risk is with the game, all the money I put in to develop it. That's the risk of losing that. The online shopping, basically it's what I put in to develop the shopping center, the backdoor stuff, like putting a wallet on that accepts payments and everything. But to have the merchandise up there, I don't see much of a risk, because hopefully we'll get a lot of third-party people coming in where with their companies, they put it up there. And it's just, you know what? It's free revenue for them. It's like something ancillary for them. Not only on their site, they're selling it on my site, where I might have more viewers coming to my site than they do have on there. If they're selling, say, cigarette lighters, all they're getting is people with cigarette lighters. I'm getting people from A to Z. So it'll enhance their product, where somebody's looking for cigars. They see cigars. Oh, I could get a lighter too? Let me buy a lighter. So it's more of a one-stop shop with discounts, substantial discounts. So what I could lose on that is just the funds setting it up, putting everything in place, because the overhead and cost for those items I'm not paying for.
What about snipers? And if just I'm not super looking at the comments. If you need us to explain who snipers are, we can kind of pause. But how are you going to prevent getting sniped?
You can't prevent it. It's going to happen. But sniping and rug pulling are two different things. Rug pulling is when they take the whole thing out. And my base, my people behind me, my followers, our family, they're not going to pull my rug. So sniping's going to happen. And as it happens, sniping's little, you're going to have volatility with that.
Yeah.
But as you see, there is none, really. And you have to admit, and I didn't even know those stats till you told me. For a meme coin, only 21% volatility. Have you heard of it before on a meme?
It's a little on the lower side, especially for a meme coin or a lower. Wow, you've got a few more purchases.
Oh, so now I have to kick you back some money now.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That'd be a Sammy move. I'm in
Ouch.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Tell me about it.
I'll drink to that one.
That's a mentality. And then let me share it real quick because I want to show everybody real time. And if anybody is a Solana, if you want to buy one or two, just to kind of show what's going on, it'd be pretty cool to do. Invest at your own risk because I don't need a SEC violation. So you're up 100K since yesterday. The liquidity went up over 300,000. The supply is there, same amount of holders. So you probably gained a few, lost a few. So it looks like it was roughly net neutral. But yeah, the market cap went up. Some volume, $72,000 and $73,000 in the last 24 hours. So that's something with like a low volatility. I mean, you're up 6%. And if you bought it on the pre-sale, if you're part of the pre-sale guys, you're up 22%.
Yeah, I think some of the pre-sale, it started out, I want to say at 3.0s, 3.2 or 3.5. We started out and then went up to 4.7 on the pre-sale.
Yeah, and you're looking at a $650,000 net worth increase. So that's it.
Good. I'm set for life. I'm good to go.
How does that work when you is it a digital asset? Like when I do my own accounting, but let's say you sit your account and you kind of want to, do cash flow, net worth, all that kind of stuff. What is that? A digital asset? I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea. This is all new to me. I have a vision. I go for it. To me, it's more or less a passion. Let me do something that I want to be unique. That's what it comes down to. I'm going to create something where everybody's skeptical on. I'm willing to take on a challenge with anything as long as I see it makes sense and we could prosper from it. So that's what I'm doing now, basically.
All right. So now you got into the life and you took an oath, right? Respectfully, right?
Yes.
You shared almost respect, not negatively ad nauseum, but you shared clearly why you did what you did. Whether it's a justification or a reason or an excuse, doesn't really matter at this point. You're out of the life, you moved on, right?
Correct.
And I do congratulate you for that because I do not think that's the right life for anybody. I don't know how somebody can live like that, knowing you're gonna get screwed, you can get killed, you could be in jail. You're kind of putting another family before your other family. So I'm happy, I'm happy you got out.
Thank you.
Getting to know you. But it can be said though, that you did have to turn your back on your brothers, right?
Yes.
What's going to happen here when you have a good relationship with everybody here and there's a temptation of making real fuck you money, but screwing other people? Why should this group believe you the same the other group that believed you? Unfortunately, it didn't go the right way. How are you really different?
I never screwed my brothers out of money.
Okay.
I got screwed from them. And I don't make excuses of what I did, why I cooperated. I even said I took the coward way out because nobody ever twisted my arm to become a mafioso, to become a captain, to elevate, to kill anybody. Nobody ever twisted my arm. It was my own decision, just the way it was to cooperate. But at the end of the day, loyalty works both ways. And when you're thrown in a jail cell, when your boss is wearing a wire, when your other boss is in jail with him and they see in the newspaper article somebody got killed and he said, oh, Dominic did it. Then when you get locked up and he tells you, you're going to take the stand on my behalf. So basically, you're going to make me a rat, even though I'm not ratting. And then as I'm sitting there, all my assets out there are being gobbled up by my so-called brothers.
Yeah.
And the acting boss at the time, the Christmas before I collect $360,000, the Christmas I'm in jail, he sends me $3,500. I'm like this. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I see the handwriting, and I wasn't even convicted. I didn't plead guilty at that time. I'm like, I'm done. Listen, I did 10 years for a crime I didn't commit in my past. I saw the handwriting on the wall with everything.
Yeah.
I'm done. Loyalty. And I don't use that as an excuse. I'm just giving an example what led me to it, because at the end of the day, by the code I've lived by, I should have took it on the chin, but I didn't want to be a dinosaur going to jail to say, wow, that guy's a real man, while everybody's on the street living it up. Nah, I'm done. And I just got disgusted and I left the life. So my breaking the code of honor wasn't about money per se, that I robbed people, I took money from them. I gave money. I mean, Vinny owed me over $1 million at that point when we were in jail. It's like, you know what? I'm just fed up. I'm fed up of being used, abused, and I got disgusted. I saw the handwriting on the wall.
What do you think? Not that it matters, but what do you think that your ex-colleagues, if you will, your ex kind of family, when they catch wind of this, like, what are they going to think? I'm just, like, it's almost like kind of a, Mafia Coin. I know it's more, Mafia is more of a Sicilian thing, or Crypton Nora is Sicilian thing, but nevertheless, in the U.S., there is Cosa Nostra, there is Mafia. What are these guys going to think about this?
Listen, I put it out there. I said, hey, you guys out there, we're in the Bonanno crime family. Get involved over here. I'm giving you a chance to make money, be an influencer. I joke with it, but at the end of the day, I'm sure, listen, they probably saying this dirty rat, no good, but they have to be saying, oh my God, look at this guy. Like, he doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I've said, listen, I came home. I had friends of mine who were around people in the street, and I would text them, hey, I'm in Sierra Leone. I'm with the president taking pictures. I'm in Guatemala with the vice president. They're like, Dom, only you. Like, how the hell, like, you just don't stop. I had concerts. I did concerts. I had Chance the Rapper, Ludacris, Migos. These are things, like, in this span of 11 years I've been home, I've accomplished more than I did my whole entire life prior.
Remember Trading Spaces back then?
Yes, with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of that a little bit, and I kind of think about, is it nature or is it nurture, right? Is it Dan Aykroyd or is it, Eddie Murphy? Because you were successful in the life, and you'd argue you'd have some advantages. You could hurt somebody, kill somebody, they feared you, they had to do it, right? But then you pretty much got stripped of that, right, by hook or crook. And then you re-emerged yourself, right? And you're doing pretty well for yourself now. So what do you think? It's nature or nurture?
I would say both.
Okay.
I would say both. It's just that, you know what? I'm very prideful.
Okay.
As crazy as it sounds for me cooperating, it took me maybe about 5 years to get over it. I mean, I was sick to my stomach. Nightmare. I actually had nightmares. I couldn't live with myself. I was in a bad place. And I'm not going to say I'm reborn, but I found God while I was incarcerated, back to my religion. And that's what helped. The priest speaking to him, he's like, Dom, it's not the life. You did the right thing. You have to get over it, move on. And just, it's just being determined, having faith in yourself, what you could do. And even if you feel you can't do it, I'd rather be a person to say this, Tom. Here I'm 70 years old. Wow. I could have did that. I should have tried. I'd rather say, wow, I failed, but I tried. I have no regrets. And that's what life's about, taking that chance, taking that step. Even I had family members when I came home. This is within months. We're having Thanksgiving dinner. Turns around and says, he'll never change. He'll be back in jail in 3 years. I'm like, wow. People are that jealous and envious of, it's just this world. It really, at times it can be so disgusting. Even with the mob tube, us going back and forth. And you know what? I was going to do a show today on Joey Molino, going at him. And I turned around, I said, you know what, Joey, I'm not going to do that because I have a sour taste in my mouth with Jeff Nadeau, what he did. Because if I do that, it'll put me on his level. I wish you the best with your steak shop. Congratulations. Just be careful who you're around because you have a lot of haters out there. And you know what? It just makes me a better person at the end of the day. How am I going to, because I have a problem with you, I'm going to take out what somebody else did to me? So it's just about bettering yourself as you grow. And I'm still growing every day.
But let me ask you this, and Jeff doesn't need me to hold his water. Jeff is his own man, and he's a good content creator. And, him and I had bumps and bruises along the way, but for the most part, Jeff's a good content creator. I get along pretty well with him, but I try not to let my feelings, reflect my judgment. But what I'm getting at is, I remember you saying that Jeff Nadeau is one of the better creators in the space. Probably.
Yes, I actually said it last night.
Well, so then my point is, why is he kind of good when he talks about other people, but not good when he talks about you?
I think he's jealous, envious. That's the only thing I could say. And I said, you asked who you think one of the better content creators. Yeah. He is. Yeah. But for some reason, to me, he's like a sneak. The first time he said something disparagingly about me, he had in his title, he was talking about Frankie Joya, that Frankie Joya left him. And then 15 minutes into it, he goes into me because him and we had a Patreon channel. Yeah. Jeff came to me. Now, on Jeff's tyrant that he ran with Frankie Joya, he brings up me. Well, yeah, Dominic, and I'm just paraphrasing right now. These aren't exact quotes. Yeah. But basically, he was saying, Dominic needed me. He came to me. He did this. So I go in my sit-down mode. I don't use profanity. Yeah. And next day, I show the audience. I'm going through what Jeff said. And then I show them text messages. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it. This and that. He came to me. Like, why are you going to lie? And then he just came out with, Dom, don't get me wrong. You're doing a rug pull? Oh, my God. Now you're robbing people? Where's your loyalty? You never had loyalty. Like, whoa. Mm-hmm. Where is this hatred? Then
well, I never said it wasn't harsh. I was just saying.
No, but come on. Tom, would you ever do that to somebody without, listen, if you had your doubts, what are you doing? You're calling me to your show.
I personally wouldn't. Because I'm also, and this is not a knock, I'm older. Like, I'm turning 50 this year. Like, I was in this genre. People wonder why I got out of it. You and I talked a little bit earlier today about that. We talked briefly. I don't care enough in a way to, when somebody comes at me, and I'm not saying you should or should, I'm just saying me. When somebody comes at me, I don't care enough to battle them because I know my worth and I know what I do. Like, right. There was one day, it was so weird. I was like, I have some clients that are physicians, not that doctors are any better, but one was a plastic surgeon, one was a regular doctor, one was a lawyer. Like, I talked to like really prominent people like throughout the day. And then I went on like my mob genre show and I got like, like my head got like photoshopped on a penis. And I'm like, what am I doing? like I'm sitting there, like, I'm like legitimately like the guy literally like reattached the nose and I was his first call out of surgery. And then my head's bopping around in the penis. And I'm like, I just, it's not congruent, right? It's not right for me, right? So do you think maybe, from your perspective, you might maybe graduate from some of these online beefs and get back? Because like you have good content, investing.
Well, thank you.
Investing, you work out. I think like I'm not your marketing guy yet, right? But my point being is, from a branding and positioning standpoint, I think you might be benefiting yourself and now the coin by maybe taking the higher road than maybe some of the beefs. And listen, trust me, it's not easy. There was a day, whether we like it or not, that if I laid hands on you, I risked death. Or if I was on the street and I spoke subversive, I'm getting fucked up. So I get the need in a way to go from you can't go from here to all the way here. It's tough, right?
Right.
But when somebody talks about you, I get the urge to come back. But do you think maybe you may take the high road moving forward? Because now the other part is, I would argue that you have a fiduciary responsibility to your stakeholders now and shareholders. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. And I do have a fiduciary responsibility to stick up for myself and clarify things too at the same time. Sure. So I'm not looking to advocate violence, but I'm looking to correct the record. And that's what I did when I went back at Jeff Nadeau.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't use it. And I had a lot of stuff to go at Joey with, but I felt, you know what? I'm going to take the higher road. I'm going to be a classier guy than that, because I didn't like it done to me. And why am I going to do it to a man who didn't even talk bad about me with the coin? And he could have jumped on the Jeff Nadeau bandwagon, and he didn't. And you know what I said today? I saw a video with Lil Snuff. I call him Snuff. I saw a video and I saw the sincerity in his face. And I said, in my video today, I'm like, you know what, Snuff? And I don't say this out of disrespect. I'm being very respectful with this. I don't know you, but to me, it seems like you're a younger guy, and this is your first business that you own that was successful, because I see the happiness, the proudness of your work. Congratulations. Congratulations. Be proud. Don't let the haters ever put you down. I honestly, that made me feel good seeing a younger kid, even though we're on two different sides.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I've always been successful, because I really have no ill will to somebody's success.
Yeah. Well, it's going to sound kind of corny, but when you, I had Joe Perry on the podcast. We did it he was driving. I really super early when he started the podcast with Joey. I wanted to have him on. I found him interesting.
Right.
When I found his story, he has overcome addiction and recovered, thank God, and it seems to be doing really well with that. So I'm happy about that. I've lost a brother to addiction, so I'm really sensitive to it. So I was happy about that. And then I do see the energy in his face that, I think he was in the car business and now he's doing other stuff. Right. And the truth of the matter is, when I see somebody and I want them to do well, even if whether I like them or not, that energy that you give is so much better, right? And it's going to come back to you. And you know this, once you don't like somebody, if you get one or two beefs, it's going to happen, right? That's
right.
If you don't have beefs, right? If you don't got haters, you ain't popping, right? But the same token, if you have a large group of people you don't get along with, you're battling with, that negative energy is going to expense more on you than it's them. That's correct. Why a good book I can recommend if you checked it out. It's called The Let Them Theory. All those things that bother us, if we're just oh, so-and-so says this, let them. Somebody fucked you, let them. And by letting go and by letting people do their thing, organically and naturally, the ones that are supposed to be around are going to stay around, but you're not going to expense a lot of negative energy towards that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Got it.
All right. So we're going to wrap up soon. What's next specifically for Crypto Nostra, and what should we look out for?
Hiring you as a marketing consultant and getting going. That's next.
I'll send the term sheet in the morning, and we'll talk. I mean, and guys in the chat, I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just that I want to be super focused, and I have ADD. So if you have any questions, Dom, you have 2 minutes for questions?
Yeah, no, definitely. Let's engage with the audience. I'm good with that.
So any questions, we'll give you 2 minutes for questions. Like I said, from the marketing standpoint, me, I like a bigger budget, but I get what you're doing on getting people to sign up. So you kind of answered that. I was a little happy with that. I'm still gonna bother you on a gate or a lockup on the
Right.
I wanted a lockup in the pre-sale, lockup in that. I get it, but you also control it, right?
Right.
So I'm hoping in a good way your greed kicks in, that you're so like, this is going to be $1 billion coin or whatever it is, that when it's worth a lot where most people would sell, you might go on and just say, hey, let me continue. Okay.
That's all right.
I just talked about expensive negative energy. And then again, like tomorrow, my head's going to be on a penis. So, all right. All right. So you said what's next? Again, we're going to wrap up soon. I just wanted to see a few more buys came in. That's interesting. Yeah, you made another 100,000 in market cap in one day. How many times you check it, Dom? Tell the truth.
I'm checking throughout the day because what's bothering me is for some reason on the platform we can't boost, and that's important.
Yeah.
We're doing this without a boost. If we were able to boost, we'd be, I think, a few $1 million already.
What platform did you want to boost on?
We're on Dex Screener.
Yeah, so you could come up.
Yeah, they have us where we can't boost, and we're trying to get them to correct the analytics behind the scenes because they told us what was wrong in the audit. We corrected it where we had to lock in certain things. We locked in, I think, 3 days ago, and they still didn't update on their software. So, but somebody else told me, they said, Dom, look at it like this. Even though you couldn't boost yet, it shows stability, so it'll make it more valuable when you can boost.
Well,
people will look at that.
It's also, I would call it a soft launch.
Okay.
Because you didn't really boost it. Like, you don't get me wrong, like you have a very nice following. And by the way,
I got you with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody, listen, a sincere thank you for everybody who came. I don't recognize anybody except for Carlos, so I appreciate it. So subscribe to the channel, check out my stuff. Hopefully you'll stick around. But so you got a good amount of people around you, and it's up 21%. So I do like the fact that it's kind of natural in a way. It's like, hey guys, friends and family jumped in. It's not really, Dex didn't kick in yet. So it'll be interesting to see when that kicks in and what kind of response that is. You ran several companies. You're great at making them profitable. When do you think you'll see profitability on maybe a cash flow basis on this endeavor?
Maybe the second or third quarter
of next year.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, Cindy is she's actually long time listener. Nice to see you, Cindy. Again, I'm not giving advice, but I'll let him answer.
Well, what I would suggest, whatever you could afford, and you know what, if you're skeptical, join our influencer program. It's free, gives you the opportunity to grow with us, hit certain benchmarks. And it doesn't cost you anything but your time.
The 4 transactions, they were, I think, average of $58 each. Let me see. $11, $55. I would have made a whole $8. Not bad. No, it's interesting because you're getting like micro amounts.
But that's good. I would prefer lower amounts because it's diversified then.
Wade, you want to pop on? Good. Wade? He has a crime and entertainment. He's
no, we weren't on with him. No, yeah, pop him on. Let's go.
Bald guy.
No, I don't think I do.
Nice beard like him. I'm gonna put a quick link for Wade to pop on. He's got a great show. He's got a great platform. Very close with Matt Cox.
Okay.
I highly suggest you doing a show.
Well, that's it. Dude, listen, let's go. I'm following your lead, Tom.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and I did in studio with him here in Jersey. When you come up, I should definitely do it in studio. But yeah, Hollywood Wade is a good guy. He's a good man. Let me just see. Thank you for subscribing, Unique Mastiffs. Let me just see. I'm a good. Which reminds me, for those that are watching that are in the tri-state area, okay, New Jersey, New York, etc. I'm going to be at you're going to like this, Tom. I'm going to be at PaisanCon from May 9th to May 11th. I'm a media sponsor there. I'm not only going to be there as a media sponsor, but I'm going to do a podcast from there, and a whole bunch of people there. Furio from The Soprano, pretty much the entire Soprano cast is going to be there for the most part. It's called Sopranos Con as well. So I'm going to do some pretty cool interviews.
Oh, nice. Congratulations with that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Going to be fun. I went last year kind of as a guest. But this year I'm going as a media sponsor. Let me just see. I like Little Snuff, wishing the best. Why be a hater and overcome? Yeah, exactly. I mean, just
agreed.
You know, you don't know man until you walked in his shoes. Okay, Dom, is there a website or how do we look into this?
Yes, you could go to official cryptonostra.com. And even when you're on the website, we have it's called a white paper. And it'll tell you all the percentages. It'll tell you everything about it, about the coin itself.
Yeah, that's important. Can you maybe touch on the white paper and why that's important to have it? You know, obviously, a guy like me is going to read it,
right?
Dissect it, that kind of stuff. Why is that important? If you can share,
it tells you where all the allocations are going. It tells you about the gaming, all disclaimers in there, the utility of the coin, the meme coin. It just gives you all the informative information, like basically all the questions you asked me tonight. It's in the white paper.
Okay. And then do you and your family still make homemade sauce? We do. We make it every other year.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, we make it.
I need a jar then.
I get you. You will get a jar, and it only will cost 0.005 Crypton Nora. But no, we make it. You'll appreciate this, Dom. We make it every other year. We made it last year, babe, right? Yeah. So we made it last year, so we have enough to bring us through. We'll make it again in 27. I used to love it when I used to work in the Bronx, kind of like, you know, like Morris Park area, like, you know, Williams Bridge,
right,
like Mace, Allen, all those, and
right.
That area in the summer, you would see people making the sauce. It was pretty cool. Like when I used to go there. Hollywood Wade, please meet Dom Cicale. Dom Cicale, please meet Hollywood Wade.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you? Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Yeah, Matt told me. I think he talked to you about me up there. I don't know. Think we've
yes, he did.
Met, but yeah, I seen you were just on his show.
Well, pleasure meeting you.
So Wade, you bring your checkbook?
I've been listening. I've been listening to this. Matter of fact, Bill Cotolo had told me about this, so I've been following it for a little bit, and I'm a bit of a I fancy myself as a bit of a gambler anyway, so sounds like something I can take a crack at.
All right. So what was your take going? Did you see most of this interview or how much?
I actually just popped on a few seconds ago. I was watching NFL draft and I just seen the live markers.
Any surprises?
Well, of course, my team had like a second round graded pick that they picked in the first round. It's the Panthers. They suck. I don't know. Jacksonville traded a lot to move up to the second spot to take Travis Hunter from Colorado. They gave up a good bit, so that's interesting.
Was his girlfriend with him?
She was.
She was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was his girlfriend. I know they've had a lot of controversy since the end of the season, but you know, who knows if that'll be his girlfriend tomorrow. So
I was gonna say, you ever see the CeCe Lamb video?
Where he snatches the phone.
That's my favorite. All right. So Wade, any questions? You're a smart guy. You kind of know your stuff. What questions, comments? I'd like for you to kind of unpack this a little bit with Dom.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess for a guy I've got a few cryptos, but nothing like, you know, I guess really, really extravagant. So how would I go? What platform would I use? How would I go about getting it? Heard you tell kind of give people the advice of don't invest more than you can afford. And obviously that's good advice. You don't want people investing, you know, a whole lot, but like what platforms do they need to go to and what would they need to look into to kind of study and have an understanding of what you're doing?
They can go to the website, which is officialcryptonostra.com, pull up the white paper, which tells everything, gives all the analytics about everything.
Okay.
We are on Radium and through Phantom Wallet. Okay. You would have to buy Solana and then do the swap. Where you exchange. Yes.
Yeah, I did that a little bit back when I don't know if you guys remember, but the whole Safe Moon thing was kind of on the rise, and I was listening to Dave Portnow, and You know, I was like, if this thing goes to a penny, I'm going to retire and kick back in a island somewhere. But
I interviewed, God, I forget his name. I'm getting old. I interviewed this guy. It's like my third podcast, right? And it was a Bitcoin guy, and he basically was telling why you should do Bitcoin, blah, blah. I should probably do a reaction video to that. So as I was interviewing him, I went back and listened to it. It was 800 per share.
Wow.
I should have like a machine that just kicks me in the ass every day. I'm like the fifth Beatle. Nah, they're not going to be big, you know?
Wow.
Well, I know when smartphones first became a thing, and this, I imagine this was like 2010, 2011, I bought, I think it was around $4,000 of Netflix stock.
Oh,
because
wow.
they had just got it where the app could go onto the smartphones. And around that time, it was probably 50 to 60 bucks a share. So now you know what the price is per share. So you're thinking, yeah, that would have been a big hallway. What you don't know is in between there, that thing is split multiple times.
Wow.
You held on to it, right? I hope.
No, I did not. When they done one of their first price hikes, I was an early investor. I panicked, pulled out, and it, I don't even really want to talk about it anymore.
You would have created Crypto Nostra Wade if you held on to it.
Yeah.
Any I know it's all tough, but any way to have a physical coin made? a little tricky, but no, right? I assume.
No, I mean, at least not right now, anyway.
No. I'm saying, Dominic, you're not gonna have any physical coins, so maybe a debit card or credit card. Right?
Yeah, no, there was talk about coming out where people could buy a physical coin.
Yeah,
but no, it's not yet.
So just to talk about John, so Hone of that area. When I was in the Bronx, I don't let you know the two.
I'm gonna be right back. I gotta open the door.
No worries. You know the two Patricias and how they like argued and
yes.
stuff with their cousins. Yes. So the Morris Park Patricias, I was friendly with both, but the Morris Park Patricias, it was one of my favorite. I don't know how it is now. I think it got bigger, expand upstairs, downstairs. But it was one of my favorite restaurants. It was excellent. Did you go to that one or the other one?
No, the one in the Bronx, Fog's Neck.
The Fog's Neck one. That was they now have like 20 of them.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. They call them. So what happened was one was Patricia. If you remember, one was Patricia's 1, one was Patricia's 2. Right. And then falling out, they were cousins, and now he called it Patricia's, and now there's like 20 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. So funny story. Somebody from the Bronx went in there to shake them down, and the not the one owner I know, the other one stabbed the kind of, it was like a half a wise guy. It wasn't a serious guy. Just kind of trying to shake him down, some bullshit, and he wound up stabbing him with a fork.
Yeah. When was that?
Around your era. Around your era. Yeah, somebody.
That's why I asked. You
know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, but I remember somewhat of it. Yes.
Yeah. The guy's name. We'll talk about it later. But stabbed him with a fork.
Hey, so Tom, quick question. You're from the New Jersey area, right?
Yes, I am.
Do you remember the case? What they referred to as the New Jersey Devil?
Vaguely, if you could refresh me.
It was a kid, I think Tommy something or another. They said he got basically hooked into like Satanism. He wound up taking out his mother. He set his house on fire to take out his father and little brother. Luckily, they escaped, and then he ran across the woods. And they said basically like he unalived himself to the point to where he almost decapitated himself, that they didn't even know how he was able to do it that deep from one side to the other. And I guess it was a big deal during that time. And I interviewed a guy, and if you want, I can send him your way. He's got a podcast called The Devil Within, where they basically break down that whole situation. And I had never really heard it before. But it was really interesting. And I'd heard of the Jersey Devil, but I didn't know if it was like some kind of urban legend, mystical creature type thing. I thought it was something based off that, but it's actually a kid that got hooked into Satanism and took out.
Yes, okay, I remember this. This is a crazy story. You had Brandon Morgan on that guy?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah. So, I guess what Sullivan, he killed his mom, and then himself, and then so this happened near Clinton Road. Okay, I gotta tell you a quick Clinton Road story. Clinton Road is a literally haunted street in New Jersey. Okay, so my wife, not my wife, but my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, we went there one time, and when you drive on Clinton Road, it your radio goes out, like it just goes out, right? And there's a story where a kid, like, I don't know, something happened where a kid like got killed there. I don't know if it's that, something happened, right? So people go and like throw coins like out in the, you know, in the water, whatever, right? So we were driving, radio goes out, we're shitting. We might have had a little too much. No, I'm just kidding. No, so we put the coin on the ledge, and then we drove, and then we got lost. We drove back. The coin was gone. Like, I'm telling you, Clinton Road is fucking haunted. You can put as many tin hats as you want on me. It's haunted. It's haunted.
And I mean, we cover a lot on my show. You know, we obviously cover people from the life, but
Yeah.
you know, that was one of the first kind of, I'd almost classify that as supernatural. And I'll tell you a quick story. The kid went to a Catholic school, and the Catholic school said, you know, we missed this one. And of course, my first question is, how do you miss, you know, somebody supposedly inhibited by a demon? And she said, it's different when somebody invites it in as opposed to when it takes somebody over. And I thought about that, and I was like, well, that makes a little bit of sense. And he said he reached out to the principal, who's now in her 80s, but he said it's still sharp. And she said, I remember that like it was yesterday. She said they were about to go on winter break, because this happened, I think, 1st of January or right at the end of December. So they were about to go winter break, and she had noticed a little change in the kid. So she called his name, didn't answer. She followed him behind him, Tommy, didn't answer. Finally, this is according to what he says, or what she says, whoever's in there, I need to talk to Tommy. So the kid stops in his tracks, turns around, looks at her straight in the face, and said, it's too late, sister. Turns back around and walks off. And the way he said it, dude, the hairs on my arm stood up. That's too much for me.
Wow. Maybe they can buy some Crypton Nostra.
Yeah. Well, so when is this? When I'm a little late in the game here on this, so Dom. So when is this available? Is it available now, or when is it?
It's available now. We had the pre-sale last week. We sold out, and we're actually in the market right now.
Okay, so now you can go in and buy it anytime, because I just went. My mom was pestering. My mom knows nothing about stocks, but she was been pestering me forever. Matter of fact, Tom, when I was in New Jersey, she was hitting me up, talking about buying the Newsmax. And so she sent me $1,000 because she's like, I don't even know nothing about this. She don't like putting her credit. She's very old school.
Right.
So I bought her $1,000 of Newsmax, and I got it at like 27. 2 days later, it said 250. And I called her. Yeah. I was like, hey, do you want me to sell this, or you want to keep it? She said, no, keep it. I woke up the next morning, 200, 150, 100. Now it's back down to about exactly where we bought it from.
Yikes.
And that was all in a 48-hour period. If you looked it up, it went on the market at 20, shot up to, I think, 260 was the highest. And now it's back down.
Yeah. Dom, what's the lowest possible investment you can make?
$5, $10, whatever you can afford.
Yeah, the truth. I'm actually looking at like the recent transactions, and I think only like one out of the last 30 are above $25. So you could buy micro doses of it, and still get a decent amount of share.
Yeah, amount of coin. You're right.
And what'd you say was the most popular platform to buy it on?
We're on Radium, but the wallet, you need Phantom Wallet.
Phantom, okay, I do have
right.
that.
You could buy you get the coin, get Solana on Robinhood anywhere, and then you need the Phantom Wallet to swap it out.
All right. Yeah, Dom, we'll definitely. I think I've emailed you before in the past, but it may have gotten lost in transaction. And I'm horrible about keeping up with emails too. But, I'll contact you, man, offline. We'll get together and do something.
No, definitely, it'd be a pleasure to come on and we could shoot the shit without a doubt. And thank you.
I hate I'm gonna miss the Paisan Con, Tom. I was looking at coming up there because there's a lot of people there I'd like to see.
Come up.
That's my wife. It's mine. It's also Mother's Day weekend, but it's also mine and my wife's anniversary that weekend.
So how
many years?
We've been together we've been married 16 years, been together 21.
Wow. Congratulations.
He also killed her lover.
Yeah. That's a whole nother story.
Tom, you should have him on your show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've got a pretty wild story. It's kind of how I got into podcast, and I started. You know Ruggiano, right? Anthony
Yes.
Ruggiano. So I was on house arrest fighting a case, and they let me go to New York to interview him because I was doing the podcast at the time. So like I was on trial for murder for the case, but it was a self-defense claim. But yeah, they let me fly to New York and do podcast while all that was going on.
So I gather you're in Florida since you said self-defense.
I'm actually in South Carolina, so not far.
Okay.
South Carolina.
All right.
And we have council law down here and everything. And, you know, it was inside my own home. It wasn't at a bar or out and about. And, you know, everything added up. But, you know, short-sightedness from detectives, tunnel vision, and their own, you know, twisted narratives to try to build their reputations kind of takes precedent over that. And it unfortunately took about $115,000 and 5 years to get it straightened out, but it got straightened out. And,
Thank God. Thank God.
Thank you. And
Yeah,
I've met a lot of cool people throughout this. I would have never done this had that not happened, you know?
Yeah, but Wade, what's better than having your wife meet Johnny Sack and Furio and, you know?
I would love to meet Caratola. He's one of the only people that I haven't talked to.
He's going to be there. He's going to be there.
And when is this, Tom?
May 9th to the 11th.
Okay.
It's literally like pretty much every, you know, like Meadows not going to be there. Robert Ott's not going to be there. But pretty much everybody else, you know, Jason Serbone, David
Portman's going to be there.
Yeah, your guy.
Lorraine Bracco.
No. Who's that? Lorraine Bracco went last year. I don't know if she's going this year.
Yeah.
She went last year, though. I'm pretty friendly with the guy who's putting it together. He makes it pretty attractive for the talent to show. She did go last year. You know who I was geeked up about meeting was Eric Roberts was there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Said, cut off my thumb. I was like, oh,
is that the same guy that put this on, the one that done the original Sopranos?
No, that was Michael Moda. I actually interviewed him.
Okay.
I interviewed him for my podcast. So he was an interesting guy. So he did something in AC and he did the Soprano reunion, but then he had almost like a Mafia Con, and I think Francis spoke at it. And what was weird was the problem was, I think, like a lot of guys that go to that may be involved, and the guys that go to see Francis are kind of a different group. So I don't know how that worked out too well. But yeah, Mike spoke in Harris. I remember that was a few years back. But this is a different guy. It's the kind of a new Sopranos Con, and it's pretty interesting. I'm gonna be there for the weekend. So
they didn't allow me to leave the state at that time whenever he done that first Sopranos Con, because I was really looking at going, because they had I think Robert Eiler was even at that one.
Yeah, he was at the early. The other one's a little more formal.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you come up, you got a host. You know where to find me.
Oh yeah.
Somebody asked about the lowest investment. I don't know about FFAI. Dom, do you? I'm not familiar.
No, I have no idea.
Maximum. This is a good question because obviously there's no cap, but you got to be careful. So, Dom, like if somebody wants to throw decent money at it, what do you recommend?
What you could afford. Just, know it's an investment like anything else. There's always risk, but we have a good platform. We have a solid foundation. So I don't like telling people, listen, when I advertise, I said, invest $5, $10, $20. Like, I'm not looking for people to throw their life savings in it. Just believe, every little bit helps. That's all.
You're not trying to be the Tokconomics.
Correct. No, nowhere near it.
Savings in there, and then
my hair's not long enough.
Yes. I was gonna Photoshop his head on her body, but I didn't enough time. All right. Well, listen, Wade, I'll catch up with you. I'll connect you guys over Cell if that's cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So Wade, and I'll catch
it's a pleasure.
Yep. Good to meet you, sir. We'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely.
All right, Tom.
Thank you, Wade. Nice seeing you. So, Dom, listen, I had a lot of questions for you. I felt you didn't evade a lot of the questions. I think you were fair. I gave my displeasure on the gate. I'm not going to let that go.
No, I know that. I know.
I'd like to see a little more utility, but I see the game plan, so I'm going to really look forward to seeing like the next brick, if you will. So I think that'll be an executional point. But you know what? Like at the end of the day, follow your own advice. People, you know your wallet, you know what you want to do. So Dom, I'll leave you with the closing remarks. I'm a little tired. Closing remarks, and then we'll conclude.
I want to thank you, though. I want to thank you for being thorough, always being a gentleman. I appreciate that. And hopefully you'll come on board, be part of the team. So I'm only as good as the people around me. And I want to thank all my supporters, my fans, people that came on the show to watch, to support. Thank you, because I couldn't have done it without everybody. And at the end of the day, nothing in life is guaranteed but dying and paying your taxes. And, I'm just putting my best foot forward, and that's it. I'm going to try, and we're going to build something here.
She used to work with Sammy, right?
Yes. That's Anna. Yep.
So you stole her from Sammy?
Yes, she's really good. Really good. She's helped me out a lot, pointed me in the right direction. Really,
I don't know if she's gonna remember. I was gonna have Sammy on a while ago, and Ramona helped me get him on. Ramona's
from the Housewives.
Yeah. So that's her friend, and so when I connected, it might have been her, and a date was set and everything was set, and like he's like forgotten about it, or I don't know. Like I'm sitting there like all ready to go, and then when we finally did it. Him and I both had the CEO VID 19, and I was like, I was sweating like bullets. I was so sick, but I want to get out of the way, to be honest with you. And he wanted to get it done, and it turned out afterwards he got like very sick for like 6 weeks, and I was sick for a week or two. But yeah, when I did his interview, I was in bad shape.
Oh, I think that's when they poured water on him and he stayed up past midnight.
Stuff.
That's the gremlins. We call him a gremlin.
Listen, I got a complicated history there. I'm personal friends with Karen.
No, Karen's a sweetheart. Listen, I met her on a few occasions. She's a sweetheart.
And she's always been supportive. I launched like a book 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Her and Ramona came. Whenever I asked her to come on,
That's
she
good.
comes on. So I consider her like a friend.
Have you spoken to Sammy?
I haven't.
Okay, two polar opposites.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is, on my podcast, I asked them, and I'll ask you, but now we'll conclude. Is if you have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be? And when he did his 3. I'm like, well, none of them is Jesus. He's like, no, why would I, have dinner with him? I'll meet him when I die. And now I'm sitting there like, eh. All right. So you can have dinner with 3 people dead or alive.
Me?
And why? Yeah.
Well, now you put me on the hot seat, so I have to say Jesus.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, you're not going to pay for the wine. It'll be cheap.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
3 people. 3 people I've never eaten with, or I would like to have back.
Anybody notable or close to you? Either way, let's do one close to you, and then one
right now who aren't here. My grandparents.
Okay, so
my grandparents. They're my heart. They're my heart. I could do no wrong with them.
Yeah,
no wrong. And I'm not going to talk about it. So I'll start tearing up. Like I still get emotional over it.
Wow. Who else would you want to round it out with?
Who else? Who would I have dinner with? I have to say Marilyn Monroe.
That's an interesting one.
Yes.
Well, she does like mob guys.
Yes, exactly. Bugsy Siegel and maybe Meyer Lansky.
Meyer Lansky had a stepson that smacked a Genovese wise guy and they killed him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. At that, what's that? The Forge, that famous place out there? Like the Forge is like a famous steakhouse in Miami, and he had a tussle. So his son was there, stepson or something, not a son. I mean, all sons, but I mean, the stepson, whatever it is. I reserve the right to be wrong, but he had a tussle with, I think, a West Side Soldier or captain, and I think he put hands on him and they killed him.
Wow.
So obviously, he was an associate.
Right.
At his level, he had to approve that.
Right.
Which I find crazy. Imagine approving like your own son's death. I mean, that's fucking nuts.
Well, one day the story will come out with Dom's son.
Wow. I'm waiting. Is that in the new book?
Well, no. It's not in the book. There's one more. Dom's gone. There's one more Genovese that when he passes, then all the Genovese stories will come out.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't buy the story that's out there.
With
you
Dom?
Please confirm the story that's out there is not true. Meaning, like, they said he got killed because he laid hands on Vinny's son.
Vinny's son wasn't even there. It was me.
Oh shit!
It was
me.
Did
you have your button?
I was a captain.
Oh.
And I smacked. He was getting loud with me. He asked to speak to me. He said, my father sent me. I gave him the courtesy.
Yeah.
Walked outside of my real estate office. I'm up the corner. And he's speaking to me. And he started getting belligerent. And I'm like, lower your voice, please. I don't give a F. Now he starts using profanity.
Hey.
So I crack him. I open hand smack him.
Wow.
He stumbles. And he turned around, ran to his car. Get the gun. Get the gun. I ran after him. So we're in, the Bronx Middletown Road?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Middletown Road.
Yeah.
And I caught him getting into his Acura and I'm banging the car door on his legs, punching him. The guy in the car is like, Dom, there's no gun. There's no gun. They leave. I leave. As I left, Vinny's son pulls up. When Vinny's son pulled up, he gets out of the car. As he didn't even get into the real estate office. He had no clue what happened. The cops came. So they caught the son and they, of course they thought it was him. He had nothing to do with it. He wasn't even there.
Jeez.
And within 10 minutes, they were calling for me to sit down.
So as a captain, got to drop the BizonCon link. As a captain, who do you like? Who's the underboss? TG? Like, who did you tell? Like, who did you go to say, hey, I'd like to stand for you? Like, who did you talk to?
No,
like,
Vinny called for me within, I think, 10 or 15 minutes. Michael knows got a page, Vinny page. He paged me. And all of a sudden, he's like, we have to go sit down, Robert Milano. So what happened?
So Vinny was the essentially underboss then.
No, Vinny was the boss. He was the acting boss.
Oh shit! So you had an acting boss, and who went to that sit down? You and then his father.
Well, it was Vinny and myself, and they brought the kid. I'm like, I have no problem with him.
Oh, they brought him.
Dom's son and my father were two. Listen, my father was a drug addict, so they would hang out together. They knew each other. He didn't know that my father was Dominic, and the kid came very apologetic. I'm like, no problem. Don't worry about it.
Did he know you had your stripe?
Yeah, no, he knew I was straightened out because he told me my father sent me here to speak to you. So, but then what happened after that? No, I'll wait till somebody passes away and then we'll go into it.
I know, like, it wasn't your lane. I know that Arthur Avenue was like a whole bunch of other guys. But I don't buy the Patsy Perello son story with Sal Loke. So he put hands on Sal, and like that was enough to kill him. Like I can't wrap my head around that story.
Yeah, I don't know with that, but I'm sure there's more to it. There has to be.
If you had to rank you guys, Gambino and Lucchese in the Bronx at that time, who was 1, 2, and 3 in terms of strength?
Oh, back then? Well, before we had any rats in the Bonanno crime family, we were up there.
Wow.
We were up. Even the Genovese were heard saying it. But afterwards in the Bronx, I would say, well, we still had the strength because nobody got arrested in the Bronx.
Yeah.
So I would say us and the Genovese had the power.
Yeah, because I'm just wondering, like,
remember, we had a lot of heavy hitters over there in the Bronx.
Yeah.
There was, and then, like, even though Bruno was from Queens, Ace was from Queens.
Yeah.
They're around us. They were in my crew. So they're part of the, But even in the Bronx, myself, Johnny, Joe, I'm not even going to say Michael's just a washwoman.
Yeah,
But you had Vinny, you had Anthony Donato. We had a strong crew.
Well, Angelo Prisco was a Bronx guy, right?
Yes, he was from originally Harlem, Bronx, but he was with Genovese.
Well, I was talking to somebody today. If you were from Harlem, you were basically considered a Bronx guy for Cosa Nostra.
Basically, a lot of Bronx guys are Harlem guys. And listen, when I was in jail, the Brooklyn guys, they didn't integrate with African Americans where we did because of the drug trade. Listen, all guys from the Bronx and Harlem are heroin dealers.
Yeah, they're all drug dealers because that's what they did.
So unless you're in Queens, if you're a drug dealer, you're a zip from Queens.
Yeah. So that's how it. Yeah. But interesting enough is that Pleasant Ave crew, there wasn't bananas weren't as strong there, right?
Correct. That was Genovese.
I gotta send this to you. There was a Banano guy. I think he had his button, and he got killed by a black drug dealer, and it never got solved. And the story is like they did it on the sneak, and they did it. I don't buy it. I think at that time you killed a guy, you're all going down. But I gotta send it over to you. But anyway, listen, Dom, it was a pleasure. Good luck with the coin. We're gonna talk tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely, Tom.
And I appreciate your time. And thank you everybody so much. Please like, subscribe, share this episode, and I'll see you guys next time.
Tom, thank you so much. Have a great evening, and we'll talk tomorrow. And thank you again. And thank you all my followers, even Tom's followers, for listening, hearing us out, and hopefully all the questions were answered.
You're the best, man. Talk soon. Ciao, guys.
Thank you.
Ciao. All right.